Good afternoon, Mr. Bali. Good afternoon, Ms. Igarroa. This is Fernando Rodriguez, the administrative assistant here at the 49th. Just wanted to confirm that the parties that we let in, E. Rangel, V. Gonzalez, someone by the name of Enrique, are witnesses in this case. So we don't let other people in that are not.
I don't know who Enrique is.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I don't know who the Enrique is. Or Janelle. I don't.
The court previously ruled that this is an open court, and because it's by Zoom, anybody and everybody is entitled to appear.
But not in the Zoom hearing itself. They can watch, it's live streamed on YouTube. They can watch it on YouTube.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps we can clarify that with the court.
Because you need to ask Judge Reed.
We'll go ahead and ask Judge Reed.
Nope, that's not a problem.
Yes,
Good afternoon, Judge Reed.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good
Okay,
afternoon, Judge.
how is everybody this afternoon? On this Friday afternoon, and we're working.
Great.
As usual, Judge. Nothing new.
We're not out playing. Okay. Have we got everybody here we need? We got Mr. Bally, we got Ms. Cigarota, we have Mr. Garcia. We got the court reporter.
I think we
And
do.
you're on mute. We didn't hear you, but I see you.
Hello.
And we have
Everybody around
Marielle,
us.
so I guess we're pretty good to go. Mr. Bali, I don't think I've gotten any kind of motions from you or anything that need to be heard this afternoon.
No, Judge.
Okay. So Ms. Cigarola, I think you're the one who's generating all of this.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. In the interest of justice, I certainly am.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Your Honor, I think there's a preliminary matter. There were many witnesses that were served by our constable's office to appear, and I don't know if they're in the courtroom because the rest of us are by Zoom.
Okay, so Marielle, why don't you give us a list of all the names we need to see of anybody who may be
It was
involved?
just attorney Cristina Mendiola present with her client.
Well, who's their client? I can't hear you.
Let me check, Judge.
Who do we? Maybe she went to go look. I need to get me some water. I'll be right back while she's doing that.
One more time.
Okay, I'm back. Have we got?
Good. Judge Reed, excuse me, this is Alma. Can you hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, Judge, I'm here with the 49th. Our question is, are you going to want the news media to log into Zoom or do you want them on YouTube?
I don't care what they do.
Okay.
I would
alrighty.
prefer them to just do YouTube because they really aren't the participants, but they can watch it on YouTube. Just have
Okay,
it.
thank you,
watched.
Judge. Thank you.
Okay, so who do we have in the courtroom now? Do we know?
I saw Miss Mendiola walk in, but I don't know who she was with. There she is.
They're checking, Judge.
Okay.
We have Jacqueline Esteves, Jaceli Fuentes, Stacy Navarro, and.
Hold on just a minute.
Yes.
First, tell me who the lawyer is that came in. Did you say?
Hola for Jacqueline Esteves.
I'm not hearing this well, so I'm having a hard time with this. The first lawyer is who?
Cristina Mendiola for Jacqueline Esteves.
Okay, now I can hear you. Thank you.
You.
And that's Jacqueline Esteves. All right, and then who's next?
It's Jaceli Fuentes.
Fuentes.
Yes.
And what's the first name?
Jaceli. Jasely. Oh, Jaceli, I'm sorry. Jaceli.
Giselle. And are you a witness or are you an attorney?
No, she's a witness, Judge. She was subpoenaed.
And who's that speaking to me right now?
This is Mariel.
Okay. All right, Marielle. So she's a witness.
Yes. Then we have Stacy Navarro
Uh-huh.
and Edgar Campos.
And do they have attorneys with them?
Do you all have a? No, Judge.
Okay. So you know who's present. Is there anybody else present who had a subpoena in this case?
Your Honor, unrelated to this matter, I had subpoenaed Mr. Castillo and the elections administrator, and he does appear to be here, but that's not on this matter.
Okay. So let's take up this in whatever, it's your motion, so why don't you just handle it?
Yes, Your Honor. First of all, there is one development from the time that Yaretsi Campos was served with the show cause order to today. She actually hired a lawyer who is in the courtroom today, Ms. Mendiola Perez, and we were able to depose her yesterday or the day before that. So this
Wonderful. So
Yes.
she's out. She's done. We don't have to worry about her.
she's done.
Okay.
Okay, and then Your Honor, we have Ms. Navarro, Ms. Fuentes, is Mr. Campos in the courtroom? The problem is I can't see the witnesses, so I don't know
I
who's in the
know.
courtroom.
Can we turn the video on in the courtroom? Is there, I'm
It's
sure, is it on a laptop or something? It's on?
Yes, Your Honor.
All I'm seeing is two flags and a seal.
No, it's where Miss Mendiola is.
Where it says
Where
court
is-
gallery.
Yes, Your Honor, court gallery.
Mhm. I don't even see a court gallery on my court reporter. Witness stand, I see that. If you want to call them as, oh, I see the gallery now. All right. So if you, Ms. Figueroa, if you wish to call someone, it appears that the witness stand is available for viewing.
Yes, Your Honor. One announcement with respect to the witness Jacqueline Esteves.
Uh-huh.
You will recall that this is the witness that could not tell me her residence address. From the time that I filed the motion to today, her attorney has provided me two sets of documents, two types of documents, and I believe is looking for more. Did I say that right, Ms. Mendiola Perez?
I believe we turned in over all the items, if I'm not mistaken, and the address. But if there's anything else missing, then we will do so.
Okay, so with respect to that, Ms. Mendiola, as I responded Ms. Perez, as I responded in the email, the subpoena also asked her to bring any and all evidence to tend to show that she resided in District 2 for the November 8th election.
Yes, and she doesn't have any of that because nothing is in her name for
Okay.
that
So
area.
then, with respect to this witness, Your Honor, then I would simply ask the court to instruct her that she must appear at trial on the 26th at 9 a.m.
Okay. So you're excusing Miss Jacqueline Estevez until January 26th at 9.
And we will be using the 111th district courtroom.
Oh, we're using the 111th?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
So
And that's, is that Judge Knotson's? That's,
Yes.
okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
that's what I thought. Okay.
So, Your Honor, with respect to this witness, I would simply ask the court to remind her, I guess through her lawyer, that the subpoena that she previously received requires and demands her attendance at trial.
Right.
And we will
Did
be,
you hear that, Miss Mendiola?
yes, ma'am, we'll be there.
All
Okay.
right.
Great.
And that's your client?
That is she, yes.
Okay, and you need to be there at the courthouse in the 111th on January 26th, which is a Thursday of next week at 9 a.m. as a witness. And don't be late. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've got that witness taken care of.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next,
And you can be excused, Miss Mendiola.
Your Honor.
thank you, Ms. Mendiola.
Okay, now
The
what?
The next witness we have to deal with is Miss Stacy Navarro. I believe she's in the courtroom, and if she could please take the witness stand. I will be brief, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Navarro. Come a little closer to the computer, maybe. All right, I'm going to give you an oath. Do you solemnly swear the evidence you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your name?
Stacy Navarro?
All right, go ahead.
Ms. Navarro, do you remember receiving a subpoena to appear at a deposition last week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you appear at the deposition last week?
No, I didn't.
Okay, and at the time that your deposition was, that you were ordered to appear by this court to the deposition, you were in fact at work, is that correct?
Yes,
And you work with Ms. Campos's sister, is that correct?
correct.
All right, and you were a campaign worker for Ms. Campos, is that correct?
Mhm. Correct,
Pardon me?
correct.
All right, and who is the co-worker with you in your office who also did not appear after being properly served a subpoena?
Gisele?
Ms. Fuentes?
Yes,
Okay, and let me ask you this. Did you actually receive a check in the amount of $11, which is a witness fee, when you were served with the subpoena?
yes, I received I received one, and then my name and my last name was incorrect. So then the next day, or I don't remember, I think it was later that day or the next day, they went over again to my work and bring me another one. But my first name was incorrect and my last name was correct.
All right, so nevertheless, you knew and understood that you needed to appear for your deposition.
Yes, but I thought it was on the 16th, the next Monday. I didn't record I think it was I saw the 11th, but when I saw the 11th and then it was in the 26th, right? The other one, the other date. So I think I thought, oh, it was in the 16th. So when this happened, when I saw it in the news in the head, oh no, it was not the Monday. I thought it was on the 16th, the next Monday. So it wasn't that Monday, the 11th.
Who's your supervisor, ma'am?
My supervisor, Mary Quintana,
Who do you work for?
and Judge Quintana.
Do you know that Judge Quintana was actually subpoenaed before this judge to give testimony about your receipt of the subpoena?
No,
You were not aware that Judge Quintana came to the court earlier this week?
earlier this week, no.
You're not aware that he testified that he told you you had to appear and be truthful?
Yes,
Yes, what?
yes, he told us that we need to come to the court.
To your deposition?
Yeah, because they subpoenaed us in our job.
And did you know that Mr. Rangel actually hired a court reporter and a videographer and was prepared to proceed with your deposition, and that they charge Mr. Rangel whether you show up or not?
No, I didn't.
And did you know that because you did not appear, Mr. Rangel's lawyers prepared a certificate of non-appearance showing that you did not appear?
No.
All right. And I will represent to you that certificate of non-appearance has been on file with this court, and that we are going to ask the court at the appropriate time to order that you pay for those expenses for your failure to appear. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand that the subpoena required your appearance at trial on January 26th, next Thursday?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt in your mind about the date that you have to appear at trial, January 26th, 2023 at 9 a.m.?
No, ma'am.
Have you read the subpoena carefully?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you must bring all of the documents that you have been subpoenaed to bring to the courthouse?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you fail to appear, this court can issue a bench warrant for your immediate retrieval to come to the courthouse, or something else that this judge might order?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any intent not to appear on January 26th?
No, ma'am.
You understand you must appear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you understood my questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt in your mind about what you are required to bring?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, I would pass the witness and ask that the court consider at the conclusion of her testimony any relief that we might seek thereafter.
Mr. Bally?
Good afternoon. I have a few questions for you. First of all, as I understand your testimony, you're saying that you were confused about the date you were supposed to appear for the deposition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the date that this deposition was scheduled, did anybody call the courthouse that you work at from Ms. Figueroa's office to inquire why you weren't there?
No, not that I know.
And are you willing to appear at a deposition between now and the date of the court hearing?
Yes, sir.
And was there any bad intent on your part for not showing up to the deposition?
No.
I'll pass the witness.
Anything further, Ms. Figueroa?
Nothing, Your Honor.
And what relief are you requesting?
At this time, I'm asking the court to admonish the witness to appear and bring all responsive documents to the trial on January 26th at 9 a.m. And that after her testimony, that Mr. Rangel may be able to urge any other relief based on this motion at the conclusion of her testimony.
You know, I am concerned about one thing. And that these depositions are part of your discovery, and you've requested ducis tecum items. And having her bring them to court on the 26th is like me having to preside over the deposition.
Understood.
And I'm not crazy about that.
Then may I ask for this ruling then? May I ask the court to require her and every other witness to provide all of those documents to me in my offices by Monday at 5 p.m. It is our intent, Your Honor, to create a dossier for every witness, as we already have done and as we're building. The court well knows that we have obtained independent documents from third non-parties, pardon me, that will certainly show where these people lived and not where they actually voted, this witness included. Perhaps if we can build that dossier and bring those documents to the court, and as officers of the court go to the heart of the matter, you have my pledge that I will do that. And if I see the documents beforehand, it's going to save time for the court.
That's what I'm looking for, because we have Thursday and Friday scheduled. I mean, I have those clear, and I want to be sure that we can get this done without having to leaf through a bunch of documents. And so I am going to order, and this applies to you, Ms. Navarro, and all of these other witnesses that were present, that any documents that are responsive to the subpoena that you received are to be provided to the law offices at Whitworth and whatever it is. What's the last name and the name of your law firm?
Figueroa.
Whitworth and Figueroa, and give her the address.
The address is on the subpoena, but it is 602 East Carlton Road in Laredo.
All right. And those are to be provided no later than 6 p.m. on Monday. So if you have to go to work on Monday, you can't get away with saying, but I had to go to work, so I couldn't drop them off. So I'm going to have the lawyers wait around until 6 p.m. So any document in your possession that is, and any of the other witnesses' possession that is responsive to that subpoena that you were served must be provided to them by this Monday, which is January, what?
23.
23 at by 5 p.m. that date at their office. Then what I'm going to do with you, Miss Figueroa, is I'm going to ask you to turn around, and any documents that you receive scan them and send them to Mr. Biley.
I will, Your Honor.
So he has them and get that done by, I'm giving them till 6 o'clock. And so let's just say 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
I will, Your Honor.
Okay. Does that sound reasonable, Mr. Biley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So if you will incorporate that order and then any kind of relief that may be sought by her ignoring what she was ordered to do by the court one time already, we will save until the end of all of this.
Ms. Navarro, did you understand that you're to bring those documents to my offices at 602 East Carlton Road by 5 p.m. on January 23rd of
6 p.m.
I'm sorry, 6 p.m. on January 23rd of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions that you have to me or to the judge about the judge's order?
No, ma'am.
Is it crystal clear in your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
I passed the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further?
No,
Mr.
Your
Biley?
Honor.
Okay. Then she will be excused until she produces the documents and when she needs to be in trial on the 26th at 9 a.m. in physically in the 111th District Court in Laredo,
Yes,
Webb County. Okay. Who's
Okay,
your
no
next
problem.
person?
The next person is Ms. Jessely Fuentes.
Ms. Fuentes, do you
Yes.
solemnly swear the evidence you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
And state your name on the record.
Giselle Fuentes.
Okay. Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Fuentes, did you receive a subpoena to appear at a deposition last week by my offices?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And did you appear at that deposition?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because my son had COVID. January the 9th, I was called into work that I had to go pick up my son from school because he was tested positive for COVID. So I had to get out of work that day. I couldn't go back to work until I was as well getting a clear test from the COVID. On Wednesday, which was the 11th, that was the day I was supposed to go back to work, but with a negative COVID test. So that morning I was over at the VitalMed getting that test done. I have the paperwork. I have as well the emails and documents from school where he was tested positive for COVID. So that day I went over to the VitalMed, which was the 9th. I got my negative test. I went back to work. I had, with all that going on with my son of the COVID, I forgot that was the day I was supposed to be over at the disposition, but I do have my paperwork with the excuses and the emails from school.
Okay, ma'am. And so did you notice that on that subpoena that you received that my phone number was on it?
Yes, with all the information in there, but like I said, with all that going on, because then not only I have my son, but I had to go get tested my other kids as well. Like it did slip off my mind, like to call and just let you guys know what had happened. But I do have my excuses and all the paperwork where he did have COVID.
Okay. Did you know that your employer, Judge Bobby Quintana, was subpoenaed to appear earlier this week and actually testified?
No, I didn't.
Would you like to know what he testified about?
If it matters, I mean.
Sure, it matters. Your employer testified that you in fact did go to work on that day.
Did, but he should have said as well that I went in late that day.
He did. He did. He said you arrived at 10:30, but your deposition notice was for that afternoon, correct?
Correct, but like I said, I didn't go, not because I didn't want to, it was just because I forgot with all that thing that I had with my son with the COVID. Like I had that like in my mind.
Do you recall that when you were served, that Judge Quintana told you that you should appear and tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am, and I was, but like I said, with that going on, it slipped off my mind. And I do apologize for that, Your Honor.
And with respect to the time that you were supposed to appear, do you understand that Mr. Rangel and his lawyers hired court reporters and videographers to take your deposition.
No, I was not aware.
And as a result of that, because you did not appear at your deposition, we took a certificate of non-appearance, and it cost my client money for your failure to appear without providing any response or excuse on that day.
But I do have the excuse with me.
It's a pretty lousy excuse. Excuse me for interrupting, but you work in a courtroom, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should know better. Now go on, Miss Segura.
And so as a result of that, have you read the subpoena carefully?
Yes.
And do you know and understand that you have been ordered by this court to appear at trial on January the 26th at 9 a.m. and to bring all responsive documents in the subpoena to the trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand Judge Reed earlier to say that you and all the other witnesses that are in the courtroom today must bring all the responsive documents to the subpoena to my office on January 23rd, 2023 by 6 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you gotten those documents together?
I have all my documents already here with me.
The responsive documents to the subpoena?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to order her to bring those to my offices this afternoon by 6 p.m.
That's granted.
Thank you. Now, is there any doubt in your mind, ma'am, about the fact that you must appear at trial on the 26th?
No, ma'am.
Do you have every intent to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you understand that if you don't appear, this court can issue a bench warrant to bring you to the courthouse?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your address, please?
3003 Pecos Plaza.
Can you repeat that address, please?
3003 Pecos Plaza Court.
And what is your business address?
My business address, as in where I work, 901 South Milmo.
Your Honor, I don't have any more questions of this witness.
Mr. Bali?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I just want to make sure, first of all, that you understood that unlike the previous witness, Ms. Navarro, you were ordered to take the documents that you have with you to Ms. Cigarroa's office today.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, before 6 p.m. Okay. Second is, as I understand your testimony, that you forgot about the deposition.
Yes, with all that was going on, yes.
Okay, and you didn't not appear at the deposition because you were indifferent to the subpoena?
No.
And did you receive any reminder or a call from Ms. Cigarroa's office at the courthouse to remind you of the deposition?
No, sir, I didn't.
And if Ms. Cigarroa asked to depose you between now and the date of court, would you be willing to appear?
Yes, of course.
And would you're planning on appearing in the courtroom at the 111th on the 26th, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and if there's any other documents that aren't with you today, would you try to get those by the end of the day, or at the very least supplement those by Monday if the court will allow you to do that?
Yes, of course. I can have them by the end of the day today.
I'll pass the witness.
I have one question, Your Honor, because I have to. So, ma'am, you work at a JP office, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever known your judge to call anybody and remind them that they had the court on that day and that the judge would wait around for them to decide to come to their hearing?
No, ma'am.
Ask the witness.
Mr. Bali?
No questions.
All righty. Then she is to produce all her documents by today, and that's not subject to supplement. It is a total amount, total documents that she has that are responsive by 6 p.m. today at your office, Ms. Figueroa?
Yes.
And be at the courtroom on Thursday, the 26th at 9 a.m. and do not be late in the
Okay.
111th in Laredo. And I find, quite frankly, it very hard to believe someone who works in a court just, it slips their mind that they have been subpoenaed as a witness. That is just, to me, and this is a finding of fact for later in the records, that is incredible. So even the courtesy of a phone call. Anyway, that's anything further for this witness?
No, Your Honor, again, I reserve my right to ask for the sanctions we have sought in our motion at the conclusion of her trial testimony.
That's fine.
I have
Mr.
nothing
Ballard,
further.
anything?
Nothing.
Then you're excused. Who's next?
Your Honor, I believe the next person in the courtroom is Mr. Edgar R. Campos.
And I'll be standing and representing him, Your Honor.
And you represent him, Ms. Mendiola?
Yes.
She's
okay.
client?
A few-
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Campos, do you solemnly swear the evidence you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All right, proceed.
What is your name for the record, please?
Edgar Raúl Campos.
Mr. Campos, how are you related, if you are related, to the contestee Daisy Campos Rodriguez?
She is my cousin.
Is she your first cousin?
Yes.
And did you help her in her campaign?
No,
How are you employed?
I work for the city of Laredo.
I'm sorry, where?
For the city of Laredo,
What do you do for the city of Laredo?
I am the compliance officer for the Department of Community Development.
As the compliance officer for the Community Development Office, what do you do?
There's multiple tasks in my job description. One of the main ones is to submit reports to the federal government of our federal funds, how we're going to spend them, how they're going to be allocated throughout the year, and report at the end of the year how those funds were spent and such, and also multiple reports that have to be submitted throughout the year, and overseeing some of several employees.
All right, sir. Thank you for that. And as the compliance officer for these federal funds, does that include the COVID relief program?
Yes.
Okay. And have you recently given any testimony with respect to the COVID relief program in any other jurisdiction?
No.
Do you expect to provide any testimony with respect to the COVID relief fund in any other jurisdiction?
No.
Now, do you recall that you were served with a subpoena to appear at a deposition?
Yes, Ms. Higuera.
And did you appear at the deposition?
I did not.
Okay, why not?
I was at work through the whole day, and I honestly, it slipped my mind. Normally in our office, it is a very busy department for the city, and we are constantly working in meetings and on reports and working on a lot of things, and it honestly slipped my mind, and I do apologize for that to you, Ms. Figueroa, and to Your Honor, Ms. Reed.
And as a compliance officer for the city of Laredo, you must work on minutia, mustn't you?
Could you please describe that word? I'm so sorry.
You have to be very organized and know and understand anything and everything that is going on.
Correct.
And so as a compliance officer, it is very important for you to comply with the federal, whatever the federal government requires you to do.
Correct.
And you do that in your business life all the time.
Correct.
But you were not acting very compliant, even though that's your job, when you received this subpoena.
Correct. And like I mentioned, it slipped my mind, and I do apologize for that.
Sir, do you realize that we had a very short window in this case to take your deposition because trial is less than a week away.
Yes.
And that my client has expended significant funds to secure the testimony regarding the allegations that he's made in this case.
I was not aware.
And that when a deposition is taken, there is a court reporter involved and a videographer involved, and that costs money.
I was not aware.
And that in your case, because you simply did not appear, even though you're a compliance officer, my client had to expend money for your failure to apply with this court's order that you appear.
I was not aware.
Well, what do you think happens when people's depositions are taken, sir?
Honestly, I have never been deposed in any, I have never been through this. So honestly, I do not know exactly what happens.
Well, having heard now what exactly happens, what, if anything, do you think about the fact that my client spent all that money and you simply did not appear?
I mean, I like I mentioned, I do apologize and I was not aware of that. I'm here now. I'm trying to provide as many information as you guys need. And I'm willing to do that whenever you guys.
And are you willing to pay for all of the expenses that he incurred because you just forgot?
Objection. That's speculation.
I'm sorry, who's speaking, please?
Objection. What do I speak to? Here.
I heard you. I did hear you, Miss Mondiola, and I've overruled the objection.
Go ahead, sir. You can answer the question.
Can you repeat the question, please? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Are you willing to pay for my client's expenses for your failure to appear at a court-ordered deposition and failure to bring documents in a timely fashion? Because you know for a fact my client expended money.
If ordered by the judge, I would try to come up with money and to maybe do a payment plan or something. If it's ordered by the judge, that's something that I would have to do.
Can you tell the court whether or not you are a co-worker of Daira Anarelli Ramos?
Yes, we are co-workers.
Okay. And are you all in a relationship together?
I'm sorry?
Are you all in a relationship together?
No.
Have you been in the past?
No.
Have you all ever lived together?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with respect to Ms. Daira Anarelli Ramos, she's not in the courtroom, is she?
No.
Okay. And you called me yesterday.
Correct.
Hold on. Let me finish. You called me yesterday and you said, Ms. Ramos and I were on vacation. Could you please serve us at a particular address? Do you recall that phone call?
It was not yesterday, Ms. Figueroa. It was on Wednesday.
Great. Okay. Let's take your version, which is true. So you called me on Wednesday and you said, please serve me and Daira at an address. Is that correct?
I called your office to advise you that we were out of town. And if you guys needed to serve us, we gave you our home address.
Sir, just answer the question. Did you not tell me to serve you and Daira at an address that you indicated?
Yes.
And I told you at the time that the constables were involved as an arm of this court and that they would be there to serve you and Daira.
Correct.
All right. And were you served to be here today with the show cause order?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the judge whether or not Daira was there to be served with the show cause order.
Yes, she was.
Okay. And tell this court, because you were there, why she was not served with the show cause order.
The constable asked her for her name, and he said that she was not listed with the correct last name. And he said that he spoke to his captain. He said his captain instructed him to bring the documents back to the court so they can reissue the order with the correct last name.
All right. And so, because Daira Ramos was with you at the time that the constable was there, and to serve you with the show cause order, and so she knew that she was one of the people that should have been at the courthouse. Nevertheless, she's not here.
Correct.
Okay.
He
Okay.
was.
So, you indicated that you have documents there today that are responsive to the subpoena?
Not with me today, but I can have them ready for you.
Where are they?
I can get them online. I can
Okay.
have, of
Would you please bring them to my office today by 6 p.m.?
course.
My office is 602 East Carlton Road. My phone number, as you know, because you called me, is on the subpoena.
Correct.
Do you understand that that subpoena, which is a court order, also requires you to be at the courthouse on Thursday, January 26th at 9 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay, you're looking at your lawyer. Is there an issue with that, or is that?
Well, yes, if I may. Your Honor, do I have permission to explain?
Mhm, sure.
So a trip has been planned by the city of Laredo for people in this department to go to Washington, D.C. to ask for funds and what have you. The trip is from Monday till Friday. And so that's why you see the hesitation, because that's been planned since November and paid for. He's willing to cancel it if the court is asking that. The trial is on Thursday and Friday. Would the court still require him to go and maybe grant him permission to come in Monday?
No.
So that's why he looked that way, because he wanted to see if he could have permission to come in on Monday.
I can't arrange my schedule like that. I have some other hearings to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
And, you know, he'd have been in a lot better shape if he'd have just complied with his subpoena.
I understand.
But he didn't do it. You know?
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
you're not going on the junket.
If I may, Your Honor, since I've spoken to him today, earlier, I've explained everything that he did wrong, and he's very remorseful about it, and feels badly about it, and that's why now he wants to comply. He did make the effort and call Ms. Cigarroa and try to get this taken care of beforehand, called her, I believe, several times, right, to make that arrangement. And so I would hope that the court would consider his interest in helping, you know, the court, attorneys proceed with whatever information and evidence that he might have to provide.
Sure.
Thank you.
Another question, Your Honor, of this witness. Where is Daira Ramos right now?
Honestly, right now, I do not know where she is at.
Do you live with her right now?
Yes.
Do you expect her in your home tonight?
Yes, of course.
Okay. That's all I have of this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Bali?
Judge, I have no questions of this witness.
All right. So you say you can obtain the documents that are requested and have them to Ms. Cigarroa by 6 p.m. today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then you are to do that. And you are to appear on January 26th at 9 a.m. in the 111th District Court. That's the courtroom. It's the 49th that's hearing it, but we're using their physical space of the Webb County Courthouse.
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I do have another question. Is Ms. Daira Ramos scheduled to go on this trip to Washington, D.C.?
No, she is not.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right.
The final witness is this Daira Ramos person who
Hold on just a second. Ms. Mendiola, were you asking to be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Ms. Mendiola.
Thank you.
You're excused. Now go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, this last witness is Ms. Daira Ramos, and she's now she never showed up for her. She did not show up for her deposition. Frankly, she knew and understood that this show cause order was meant for her, and she didn't show up again today. And
But the sheriff didn't serve it on her. What was the problem with the name?
The problem with the name was that it was Daisy Campos when her name is Daisy Ramos. So with the court's permission, I would like to send one more subpoena I would like to serve her with a subpoena. And if I'm unable to do so, I would ask the court to issue because she's already subpoenaed for trial. She will take her first on the trial date, and if she doesn't show up, I would ask the court to issue a bench warrant for her. Why don't we just do it that way?
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'll do. Huh?
May I?
I'm sorry. Sure.
The witness's name is not Daisy, it's Dayra. So just Ms. Ross misspoke, so I just want to make the record clear that her name is Dayra, not Daisy. And
No, she said Daisy was the name that was put on the subpoena.
I
but
said
she
it,
also,
I said it was Daira Campos on the subpoena, and her name is Daira Ramos. And I
Oh,
think-
Ramos, I see.
okay.
And what Mr. Bally is quibbling with me about is how to say her name. So from now on, I will say it Dayra.
I'm not quibbling about the name. I misheard. So I just want
No
to have a
worries,
clear,
Mr. Bally.
I'm sorry. I just want to have a clear record, Judge.
Whatever.
Right.
You can serve her with another subpoena with the right name on it.
Well, the first subpoena was with her right name, and it already has the January 26th date.
That's fine. Then she's under an obligation under that subpoena.
All right, Your Honor, that takes care of the issues with respect to those witnesses. If I could quickly go to something that will go rather fast.
Sure.
All right, Your Honor, may I share my screen? And well, let me tell you what it is. It's simply trying to get some stipulations of fact today, since it's the final pretrial, so that we don't have to quibble over those at trial.
And Mr. Bally, you are aware of what she's asking for?
I'm aware, well, I'm not aware of what these stipulations are. I kind of don't want to do this in front of the court. I'd rather, if we were going to do stipulations, that we do it privately and to bring them to the court. I mean, we could bring them, Monday, we could deliver them, but I don't know what she's about to present. So I would like some time.
What are you trying to do here?
I want both parties to stipulate to the jurisdiction and venue of the court, to the ballot, to the fact that there are all of these precincts, a total of 7 precincts in this district, and that there were only 2.
Well, why don't you do this?
Sure.
I don't want to have to preside over your conference.
Got it.
So get with him and see what you can stipulate to. It doesn't sound unreasonable, but see what you can do. And then what you don't stipulate to, you got to prove.
Very fair. Your Honor, then we would like to pre-mark third-party subpoenas that we served in this case. And we've used most of the information in the depositions. And I would, because I'm not a tech whiz, I'm going to ask Mr. Valdemar Garcia to go over those. Those also should be very simple.
Your Honor, what we had planned to do, and I can show the court if it's easier, but we have a list of exhibits that we can share with Mr. Bali. And we've got election records, the election night results, and what we've also got that was given to us from the elections office, and we've got the business records affidavit with it, is the cast vote record that we were talking about with the court. And I'm going to try
that was done Tuesday or whatever, the 17th or whatever that day was we had our hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh,
and what
okay.
we've done, what I'd wanted to do is just give the court a preview of what we're going to do on Thursday, and I can show it to the court. Let's see here.
And Judge, again, I'm going to say that we haven't conferred about this, and I'd rather just we have.
I think it's better that you confer about it and see if usually in the pretrial we have an idea of what can be admitted. I'm kind of sorry,
yes,
y'all.
Your Honor, and so
get to this before here or right now. I tell you what I'm going to do. It is 2:20. I'm going to take a 15-minute recess. I'm going to let you go over your exhibit numbers, see if there are any that you can agree on that are going to be admitted. Then we'll come back and we'll put it on the record.
That sounds great, Your Honor.
understood.
Okay, and then I'm just going to leave this open. Now it's on YouTube. We got to take it off of YouTube because this is a private conference you're having. And so you can do that, or we'll put you in a breakout room or something together so you can go through this and make a decision on it. And then we'll come back and we'll go back on the public aspects of the case. And you can tell me what it is you're agreeing on, and that may whittle down some of what we have to do on Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So do you think 15 minutes will do it? I don't know how many exhibits you have.
Probably not, Judge.
Your Honor, there was probably 8 or 9 categories of exhibits, public records that we have that we wanted to apprise the court of. That way at trial, when we go witness by voter, and we refer to these documents, the court will know the universe that we're referring to.
And they might just be admissible, and that's fine. I would even love to see them before trial, so I have an idea, the ones that are coming in.
Yes,
that you're agreeable to.
The only other thing I would add to Mr. Garcia's statement is that all of these documents have been e-filed and Mr. Bally has them. Every time we receive something from the non-party, we e-filed it.
Well, that's good. So at least he's had the opportunity to review it in the past. I'll give you 20 minutes. It's 2:22. Let's see, 20 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'll be back at 2:45.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And then I'll let Marielle figure out what to do with you guys for your conference.
We're gonna put them on a breakout room, Judge.
Ms. Lopez, are we able to show the documents if we're in a breakout room? Can we do share screen there or not?
I'm not sure.
Can you enable share screen in the event that we can?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And I'd like my client to also be put in the breakout room.
Okay, council. Are they back or are they still working on it? Marielle,
It looks like they're still in the breakout room, Judge.
why don't you go in and ask them how much more time they think they need? I'm happy to give it to them. I just want a little estimate of when to come back. Excuse me, I'm getting sleepy. Must be the weather up here. It's starting to get a little cold and a little cloudy.
It's the same where I am. I'm in Victoria.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Judge, they said they need
Is
about 10
Jackie
more
still
minutes.
there as a coordinator? Jackie Glore?
Yes, ma'am, she is.
I've got some case down there. I need to get in touch with her. I don't know what's happening on it. I emailed her one time and haven't heard back from her. And so that's why I was wondering, but it was before the holidays. So she may have gotten caught up in the holidays and just forgot about me.
I think she was out a little bit, but she should be back now. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll check with her. In fact, I'm going to put that down on my list of things to do. I have to keep a list now.
They said they need about 10 more minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Then we'll be back. I don't know. I can't see without my glasses on. Let's see what it is. It is 2:53, so we'll just be back at 3:05.
Okay.
All right, that gives everybody an idea of what's going on. Okay. Marielle. So we've got our court reporters back. And do you use two screens, Christy?
Not for Zoom, no ma'am. I know some reporters do.
Well, I'm just curious because I do, and I've been using the second one for quite a while now, but I bought a new computer that's the primary one, and now it flashes on and off a lot while I'm using it. And so I can't quite figure out what's going on. I don't know. It's the same second monitor that never did this before. I was just thinking if you had any experience, maybe you knew what was happening.
No, man, probably updated and probably screwed it up.
Probably, maybe it could be the plug, maybe the wiring. Let me try another HDMI plug or something. See if it works. Okay. And it doesn't do it all the time. It's got to be something in a wire. It's got to be some little
Maybe so.
prong got broken or something, you know?
Some kind of connection.
Yeah. I switched it between the ports, but that didn't make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Flicker.
Hi, Judge.
That was productive, Judge.
Good. Do you need more time or are you done?
No, I can actually, I've got some announcements that I can read in that Mr. Bali, I'm sure, will follow along. There were only 2 items that we might want some additional verification of or corroboration of, but everything else we agreed to.
How fabulous is that?
So I'll go through the list real quick, Your Honor. We have the Webb County election numbers. These were the results from election night that are attached to my first amended petition. It was Exhibit A. Mr. Bali is probably going to offer as his contestee exhibits the exhibits B and C to my first amended petition, which are
And I am, Judge.
results of the.
You know what I'm going to ask you to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to ask you to put it all into one package as opposed to me having to shuffle between the different exhibits in digital format. Do you see what I'm saying? You
Yes, ma'am.
saying it's attached to this petition or that or whatever. So could you just put plaintiffs exhibits or contestants exhibits and contestee exhibits and then just put a link to them or put the PDF in there?
We
And
can
then
drop,
You can do that, Your Honor. And then what I'll do in the body of the email, seeing on how many emails I'll send it to the court. I'll copy it to Mr. Bali. And then I'll put them as attachments. But then in the body of the email, I'll mention to you the ones that there were only 2 that we're still going to talk about a little more.
Okay.
Everything else was agreed to.
So just put the ones you've agreed to in a package, send it to me, and the court reporter. Might be nice if she had it too ahead of time. And I'm sure you know how to do this. And then the ones do you want to talk about the ones today that you have additional issues with, or do you want some time to figure that out?
I think we need some time, Your Honor, because it's just a matter of confirming that it came from where we think it came from. And that's all that I think Mr. Bali wanted to do.
Okay. So you can work on that.
Yes, Your Honor.
but we
And
have,
then
I'm
what?
sorry, Your Honor, I apologize.
Quit butting in.
I know it.
Let
I
your
know it. My
partner
apologies.
there talk, okay?
My apologies.
Got to rein her in once in a while, gentlemen.
I'm going to leave that to you, Judge.
I'm pretty good at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you will just put those together for me and then send them to me, I'd like to have them a little in advance because I want to go back through them. I like to be real prepared when I start.
Yes, Your Honor. Just logistics. Are we going to be using the 49th court reporter or the 111th court reporter?
I have no idea.
It'll
Mary-
be the 111th court reporter, Judge Vicente Mendoza.
Okay,
Okay.
Vicente. I know Vicente. I'll include Vicente.
Okay. And then the ones that are in dispute, is it a question of business record affidavit, or do you just have to verify something between the 2 of you?
The latter, Your Honor. One is a spreadsheet that we got from the elections office that I think Mr. Bali got. But what we did is we copied that and then rearranged it. And Mr. Bali just wants to make sure that that's what we did.
Okay.
It'll just be easier for the court to follow. And then we have a voter roll of all the voters that voted in the District 2 race. And we just want to confirm that it came from Jose Luis. And if it didn't, we're going to get that from Jose Luis, the elections administrator.
So and he's aware of that. Do you need to talk with him today in the breakout room and get it settled, what he needs or whatever? Because he's here online.
Oh, I'd love to talk with him right now.
Why not? Would it make you both happy if we put Mr. Bali and put you and of course Ms. Figueroa and Mr. Castillo into a breakout room and let you work out this?
Your Honor, I think we need maybe 5 minutes to do that.
That's fine. I'd love to get it done if we can.
Perfect. No,
Is
that
that
would be very
okay with you, Mr. Bali?
It is, Judge, but I think Mr. Garcia may have a little bit of a misunderstanding. Just about one of the items, I agree that it's just about verification. The other one, I have some more serious objections to, but we'll discuss that right now. They're both related to Mr. Castillo. So
Okay, so why don't you go and at least talk, if you can talk it out, that'd be wonderful. And then if not, then we'll get it settled when we get to court, but okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
So, Marielle, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'll be back at 3:30.
Judge.
That's actually 15 minutes. I'll be back at 3:25.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Are we getting a breakout room?
You're
Thank you,
supposed to, Marielle, can you put them in a breakout room?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Castillo and then the counsel and his client, if he wants to be in there.
Do you
Whatever
want her there,
lines.
Mr. Bali?
I do.
Okay.
Hey, Marielle,
Yes, Judge.
will you just let me know when they're back? I'm gonna keep my sound on and I'm gonna working on something else here, okay?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. Are they still talking, Marielle?
Yes, Judge, they're still in the breakout room.
Okay. It's all right. I got stuff I'm working on, so it's, oh, and I didn't print something. Dadgummit. Oh, well. Let's see.
Yes, it's gonna be some.
Judge, the parties are back.
Okay, here we go.
Judge, we made some progress, but I think at this point we have the same announcement. We have the items we've agreed to. We have a couple more that we're working on,
Okay,
but are not agreed to. And
well, that's fine. That's
we can
okay.
submit the list. We can submit that list to the court.
That's fine. If you'll just send me what you've agreed to and I'll just familiarize myself with it before we start trial and then we'll go from there. Sound like a plan?
Yes, Judge.
Yes,
One
sir.
of the items may come in a little late, come in maybe early next week, but we'll when we have it ready, we'll submit it, Judge.
That's fine. I
I'm
mean,
waiting on a new list, Judge, and I should have it by Monday.
that's fine. And did you finish? I don't know whether I should bring it up or not. Did you finish the thing you were doing with the digital and all of that?
Yes, Judge, it was submitted. The parties have it already.
And
Yeah.
they've got it.
Yes, Judge.
And is there any contentiousness over it, or is
Yes,
that
Your Honor.
what part of this dispute is over, or what you're trying to figure out?
That's part of it, Judge. Yes, that's
Okay.
part of it.
That makes sense. No problems.
So that's the one that will probably still have the objection to that cast vote record spreadsheet. And we plan on calling Mr. Castillo as our first witness, Your Honor, to address that and another issue. And hopefully we'll
Mhm.
have this, it's the voter list, for lack of a better word. Maybe we'll have that worked out on Monday.
Whatever. I will just see you all on Thursday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge,
Thank you for your
and-
time
How
this
does
afternoon.
that sound?
I have a question about that too. Is my understanding was that you were going to be here at the 111th and it's going to be a live hearing.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Thank you,
I'm
Judge.
coming down. In fact, I'm coming down Wednesday night, so I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn and drive down here in fog and everything
makes
else.
sense,
It's
Judge.
been kind of nasty, particularly during the winter. It's not as bad during the summer, but in the winter, when you get up and you're driving in that dark and there's all those trucks,
Yep.
it's not great.
You're right.
A lot
It
of
is
trucks,
not-
Judge.
And you
Lot of
never know
trucks.
about the weather, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, Judge,
gotta-
around here, because those trucks, you can't keep a windshield without a crack for
Oh.
5,000 miles.
isn't it something?
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone through several cracked windshields. It's just, oh, well, it is what it is.
Thank you
So,
again for your time, Your Honor. this afternoon.
and so we should be done with everything, and I will see you all on Thursday.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You
Thank
take
you.
care.
You
Thank
all
you.
too.
Bye-bye.